Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Monday.
Just read the headline that Japan is pledging $2 million to help out with relief in Hawaii and Maui, where the death toll has reached over 100. LA over the weekend hit with Hurricane Hillary and a 5-point-something Richter earthquake at the same time. That seems pretty wild, though I have noticed, I'm certainly not the only one to notice, that the more tourists the location attracts, the more attention they seem to be getting on the news cycle when it comes to natural disaster. And, you know, that is understandable to a level, but we have also been hearing a lot about Kelowna as well. And, you know, a lot of tourists do go there. I've been seeing photos of, you know, in the thick smoke, people still in the hot tub at the resorts. Smart. But you know, and I'm not trying to be disparaging. It has been awful in Kelowna. West Kelowna structures have been hit hard. The firefighting efforts have made a huge positive impact. Getting not nearly enough attention, though. Bottom line is that the impact of the Wood Buffalo Forest Complex, which is now just kilometers from Fort Fitzgerald as well as Fort Smith, and impacting Yellowknife and just so many evacuations. We, of course, have people here that are displaced that have come into the Wood Buffalo area, and the battle against the blazes goes on, thanks to some real-life heroes. We did talk a great deal about Guns N' Roses last week as they had a new single coming out, and then it was paused, but then it was accidentally leaked as per the original release date on like video jukeboxes across the United States and a little bit of Canada, and then it was officially released on Friday. That's the single called Perhaps. And now they're saying that another new single is going to be coming out, although it's going to be a while. October 27th is the day that that's going to be released, and that is actually to coincide with the physical release of the Perhaps single on a 7-inch vinyl. The B-side is going to feature this song called The General, but we're going to have to wait a little while to hear it. Blink-182 is Tom DeLonge in the news once again. Of course, he's shouting out after the information was released in the U.S. government, some whistleblowers about UFOs and the existence of aliens, which is something that he's been a staunch advocate for the information being shared thereof. But he does say that he actually feels okay about the people who have had to keep such a secret for so long. He says, what would each of us do if we were burdened with this? They were just doing the best that they could. Well, you know, glad that he's in their corner.
Tuesday.
I guess it was Tooth Fairy Day yesterday or today, something like that. That doesn't matter. But because of that, people have been trying to discern what the going rate is. The average Tooth Fairy payout these days, $6.23. Honestly, I thought that was surprising because I think I was expecting more. The number has increased since I was a kid, but I don't think it has been by a ton. Funny that, you know, one of the only things not hit by inflation is something that parents control the cost of. That actually makes perfect sense to me. Also makes me curious when it comes to, how do you describe it, right? Making a bone offering to a woodland fey creature. What's the going rate around these parts? What are the parents, seeing get placed under that pillow when it comes to the kids losing the teeth? Because, I mean, it was kind of a standard, like, 5 for me, and not for every single tooth. Some of them didn't get the payouts, you know, as you got a little bit older, that is. Madonna saying that she is feeling great to be alive. And that is, of course, after a very real medical scare. She had a bacterial infection that left her in the ICU not too long ago. But then since she has celebrated her 65th birthday with family and friends surrounding her, she posted an update online confirming after this 65th birthday that she is feeling much better. However, the whole scenario, the whole situation did leave her family preparing for the worst news possible. Very, very sad potentially, but glad to see that she is definitely still celebrating and feeling happy to be here. Bob Dylan has just announced a 2023 North American tour. The tickets are going on sale this week, however, quite limited in the reach of the actual dates on the schedule. And not a lot in, Canada. They do have 2 in Toronto, unlike, 6 for Taylor Swift. But no, I don't even see a Vancouver on there, and no other dates in Canada means technically doesn't count. Oh, wait! There's one in Montreal.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruise FM.
Heads up, parents, 1 week till school starts. Approximately depends on the district, blah, 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 blah. But basically, Tuesday next week, first day of classes. Yeah, not even into September. In August. Poor souls. Some parents might just be tired of waiting, right? I think one of the best ad campaigns, and I just can't remember exactly where it was for, but it was for back-to-school sales when they used the It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year holiday song to represent the joy that parents feel when they go, the kids are back at school all day. But I digress. I just posted my old Dr. Clark school photo up online. Check it out, Tiny Steve. My family, they had such bad luck with printed photos over the years. We always had cameras going, right, constantly taking the photos and then getting them 1 hour photo printed out, and then stored them in big albums and a banker's box. And, plastic totes were around, but they weren't like as universal back then. So we had 2 different water incidents at 2 different houses years apart. First one was a pipe burst in the roof of the garage, the ceiling, and it poured right down, right on the photos, of course. Another time, a toilet cracked while no one was home on the main floor, and the photos were being stored in the cupboard under the stairs, Harry Potter style. It trickled down and ruined those too. Fantastic, right? But some did survive, and thankfully that one school photo that I got to post today was one of the rare cute ones. Most of my school photos were a storm of awkwardness and acne, but the backgrounds were cool. As we were just talking about, it's 1 week until school starts up again for yet another year, and, kids are going to be out of parents' hair just a little bit, and then immediately back into parents' hair, asking, how do you do this math? And parents are going to go, this isn't the math that I did when I was a kid going to school, so you're on your own, kid. It's it's a bit of a different thing, and it's not easy to compare what it was like when you went to school to what kids are going to school now with. I mean, for example, when I was in high school, people were getting their first cell phones at the ages of like 16, 17, and I don't mean like their first cell phones because that's what their parents thought was an appropriate age. I just mean that they got their first cell phones because they were the first cell phones. You know what I mean? They were the first ones that were even available. And now smartphones in every pocket. The thing that was disturbing classes when I was a kid in grade school was Tamagotchis. And it's weird because that actually is something that stayed the same. The Tamagotchis are back again. Hopefully they've got a mute button.
Wednesday.
There's a roundabout in Switzerland that has been made to look like a turntable, and it is the raddest thing that I've seen all day. All day. I know, the day just started, but don't let that undercut how cool this thing is, because it's cool. It's just such a simple idea. It's just a roundabout, and then in the center, instead of just like some stones and stuff, they decided, it's going to look like the center of a turntable. It's cool. I wonder if it plays music as you drive around it. I mean, if not, it should. It really should. However, no matter how kick-ass a roundabout can become, I do know deep in my heart and soul that if it was here, people would still drive an extra 5 minutes just to avoid one. Or like the situation I witnessed yesterday, just like the one off Confed, people will just drive right in the middle of both of the lanes until they, figure it out. The energy was very, I'll decide where I want to go when I'm good and ready. And I'm ready. And I'm ready right now. Bye! Seriously, it's just a roundabout. They're so easy. Don't forget to signal into it. There was a porch pirate that has now been arrested for the act of stealing the entire porch. This is from Georgia, not the country, the state down south in America. And my immediate image in mind was that, somebody sawing the porch off of the front of a building like a cartoon. Nah, it's not like that. It was already detached from a structure sitting in a yard. But apparently, a man in Georgia named Robin went right on by a do not trespass sign and decided, hey, this thing is not being used. It's not really serving anybody right now. Maybe I could serve better over here in my possession. Took it, full 8-foot by 10-foot porch, entry exit point of a house, over $3,000 value. I mean, it's, a little bit up there in age. Why would you steal this? Why? I don't even get the idea of being a porch pirate in the first place. Stealing stuff right off I get why you're stealing stuff. But come on, get out of there. I do remember one time, the most satisfying time, a setup for a moment when you get to just drop an absolutely deftly placed Can I help you? To somebody who has no idea that you're there and they also are doing something sketchy. I was living at a place, a townhouse downtown. Nice big windows, and on each side of the big main window in the center was one that could swing open and get you a little airflow. And one of those just happened to be like a foot from the front entrance, from the porch of the house. And I was in there on the couch, which the back of was against that window, so really I'm just sitting there taking everything in. Like the world is my fishbowl. And somebody came up after I didn't realize a package had been dropped off. And I saw them, kind of acting a bit sketchy, walking up just right outside that window that was cracked open. And, looking around, that's when I saw that there was a package there, and I dropped that, oh, so powerful, can I help you? And they jumped out of their skin, saying, oh, no, man, wrong house. Hey, listen, you're damn right it's the wrong house.
Hey, Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
Ringo Starr, who just appeared alongside Paul McCartney on the latest single from the upcoming Rockstar album from Dolly Parton, covering Let It Be, returning to form. He's also announced an EP of his own, which also is going to feature contributions from Paul McCartney, as well as members of other bands. Eagles, Toto, Heartbreakers are going to be making some appearances. The EP itself called Rewind Forward, and, it's going to be releasing in the near-ish future. Have some patience. It's going to take a little while. The big question this morning, we asked it at the beginning of the hour. Which grocery store items have not skyrocketed in price? What is staying true blue and affordable when you do get to the checkout? I have witnessed a great number of things that I've scoffed at the increased price of, and then it makes you feel all the more excited to get something at a regular price. But you have to remind yourself, this is just regular price, and everything else has become too expensive. I did find a list, statistically, what are the items that are least affected by inflation, and the top 5 are tomatoes. I actually think that's true. We use a lot of tomatoes. Haven't seen that really skyrocketing. Cheese as well. Depends on the cheese. But your basic varieties, your cheddars, your mozzas and stuff like that. Not too bad. Though milk itself in some areas and in some times of the year have definitely seen some big increases. Just not the cheese factor. I'm wondering if that's a delay thing. Cheese has to age and all that stuff. Are we going to see that price increase later? Ice cream on the list as well. Potatoes. Yeah, we've kind of had a weird lack of hash browns for a little while, months ago now. But potatoes have stayed pretty true blue. And then canned fish and seafood. Actually, no, I don't mind it. Yeah, good old tuna sandwich can get you through a day. It really can. And, you got those omega-3 health benefits as well. What have you found at the grocery store that hasn't made you go, because it's just too expensive?
Thursday.
Finally, skid marks may be a thing of the past when it comes to your toilet bowl, that is. All right, let me unpack. First, Cheap Trick, I Want You to Want Me was right there. Live edition as well, and we still have Motley Crue coming before we hit the end of the hour. But scientists in China have developed a new surface for a non-stick toilet bowl that basically could just make the skid mark a thing of the past. I know, kind of gross, right? And you're wondering, how did they test it? Did they just use that blue liquid that they've been using in commercials for all kinds of sanitary stuff since the dawn of time? No, apparently they use sticky things like oatmeal and stuff like that, and dyed synthetic materials. Now, they're calling it the abrasion-resistant super slippery flush toilet, or ARSFT, Arsoft, or Arsfit. Either way, there's an arse in there. Haha, there's a toilet joke. But this is really wild, because they did do demonstrations. They showed that even after scratching the surface with sandpaper to the tune of 1,000 abrasions, it still was super slippery and allowed nothing to stick to the surface. This could actually be revolutionary for getting rid of skid marks on toilets. You're on your own for your underwear, though. That is still, they haven't solved that one. There's a front man out there who's not a fan of signing things that are just going to get out onto eBay and get sold. It's Stephen Jenkins from Third Eye Blind. I haven't heard from him in a little bit. He hasn't been making any waves, but there's a new video that's been shared all across TikTok where he was approached at an airport to sign a stack, and I do mean a stack of vinyl records, and he immediately asked the person who was requesting the signatures to give him a song that's on the Third Eye Blind third studio album, Out of the Vein. Person holding the stack says, "I can't believe you're literally going to quiz me, but it's because he's trying to avoid signing stuff that's just going to get sold on eBay for a profit. If he's going to sign something, he wants it to actually be for a fan who might actually find some sort of sentimental value and cherish it a little bit." And I completely understand it. Some people on the internet are dragging Jenkins for his reaction to a fan approaching him, but I'm not too convinced it's an actual fan, considering he didn't answer the question about a song on the third album. He's holding a stack of records, and he's approaching him at an airport. Why does he have a stack of records at an airport? Probably because he's trying to make some money on eBay. But who knows? In other news, there was another band that lost Taylor Hawkins when he died. It wasn't just the Foo Fighters, but also his cover band, Chevy Metal. One of the best names for a band I can even imagine. And Dave Grohl, as well as Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Shane Hawkins, the son of Taylor, joined together with the rest of the members of Chevy Metal in California at a pizza bar to do a very intimate rock and roll set and revive the covers. Very cool footage, though shaky and not great audio, has made its way to the internet if you're curious.
Thanks for listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruise FM.
Hope Thursday's been treating you well. Might not be treating Mr. Donald Trump so well today, as, he's been having some legal troubles. If you've been paying attention at all, indictment after indictment. But apparently today, I don't know when, I don't know exactly where you're going to find it, probably everywhere, but his mugshot is going to be released today. It's like one of the first ever presidential, or at least, former presidential mugshots. Whether you're somehow a fan or more likely you're the exact opposite, I am just saying, get ready for all the t-shirts. It's going to be a very real thing. I promise you. Oscar Mayer, they have just released, or at least they have opened up the pre-orders for, a hot dog straw. And the Oscar Mayer hot dog straw is an Oscar Mayer travesty. First of all, as usual, it's not even available to pre-order in Canada, meaning a jacked up eBay price is your main hope if you absolutely need one. But more importantly, far more importantly, this idea only exists after a video of an absolute champion at a baseball game went viral last year because the dude in said video used an actual hot dog to fashion a straw out of, a savory, savory straw. The official hot dog straw from Oscar Mayer? It's plastic! It's just a hot dog shaped straw. It's still better than drinking through paper. Admittedly, especially because it is reusable. But come on! This is not the hot dog straw we dreamed of. The good news is the hot dog straw we dreamed of it's just a hot dog that you turn into a straw. You can still just do that, right? You don't need to order that off of eBay.
Friday.
Are horror movies the key to a successful relationship and marriage without peer? Well, I don't know about that, but apparently, exciting things. Horror movies, roller coasters, happy surprises. Apparently these things do matter and can help improve relationships or improve marriages. People are digging up a little bit of a study that went on, a few years ago, but it's kind of like reinforcing an idea online of getting scared with your partner and having the extra surge in adrenaline and the different hormones that we feel and the blood pressure going up, the heart rate increasing, all in a term called misattribution of arousal, gets turned into a bonding experience with the person that you got scared with. So I'm saying do wait around the corner to scare the midnight snack out of your lover's hands. Do dig up the scream mask and hide behind the shower curtain. Do stop the car facing the front of a giant parked semi-truck and wake your special someone up by screaming for your life. They'll love it, and they'll appreciate you more for it. It's time for some music news headlines. Main one coming in from OMD, actually. They're back in the news with a new album announced and a single that they just released this week, actually. Their first new LP since 2017 has the single Bauhaus Staircase and the actual album, which is basically, post 40th anniversary celebration, which they held last year. 13th studio album, The Punishment of Luxury, is going to be, that was their last one, which arrived in 2017. This one is coming out a little bit later on in the year. Of course, October 27th, pre-orders available, save it to your phone, all that stuff. That is pretty much a fixture of new music out there in the world. And speaking of new music, The Killers as well have returned with a new, very, very synthy single called Your Side of Town, and first new music of the year for the band from Las Vegas. There's a new slang alert for you, but I'm not so sure that this one's gonna take off. I don't know if it's gonna catch on, though, because the term is master dating with a D. With a D, but wait, master dating isn't as awkward as it might sound. What it means is treating yourself like you were dating yourself. You know, going to a solo movie, planning a night in with takeout, going for a hike, or, visiting an interesting place just to give yourself a special, memorable moment, right? I do that kind of thing all the time. I master dates all over the place, and I'm not even single. Right? Yeah, God, that word is just so awkward.
Once a year, Donna and I spend a day treating ourselves. What do we treat ourselves to?
Clothes.
Treat yourself.
Fragrances.
Treat yourself.
Massages.
Treat yourself.
Mimosas.
Treat yourself.
It's the best day of the year.
The best day of the year!
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruise FM.